Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Grant from One Fair Review, doing another movie review. And today I want to keep it a little bit simple, keep it a little bit quick. So I'm going to do a quick review on a movie that I was kind of interested in, not really excited about, but interested at checking out. So today I watched Overlord. Overlord, basic summary, is that a group of Marines in World War II come upon a village that is under Nazi control, and they find out that under the church is the radio tower that they need to destroy in order to get their allies to invade Normandy, I believe. I don't remember what they said. Anyways, when they're there, they discover that there's an evil scientist who has a laboratory where he's reanimating the dead to come up with a huge, perfect army for the Nazi regime. Anyways, how is the movie? Well, it's okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. It's an okay film. I did enjoy it watching it in the theater. It was a enjoyable film. However, I would say it's very underwhelming. I was sold on this movie being a zombie movie, a evil scientist, Nazi scientist creating zombies, reanimating the dead. And as far as that goes, it really doesn't deliver much of that. It takes until 40 minutes into the movie to really establish the zombie elements of it, and by that point, you're almost halfway through the movie. And the movie itself, the story, is pretty predictable anyways. By the start of the movie, you know who's going to survive, and you know who's going to die. So, in that sense, you don't really kind of get a feeling for these characters. It's not a gritty horror movie, and it's not really horror that much to begin with. It's more of a war movie. Quite honestly, 80% of the time I was watching this movie, I kind of forgot that it was about zombies, because it pays more attention to the war aspect of it, and it doesn't introduce the whole zombie element until later on. Normally in a zombie film, you want to introduce this kind of thing in the first 5 minutes, so then the audience has an understanding of what to fear or what our characters will be in danger from. It's like that old movie mechanic where you have a group of people sitting at a table talking. That in itself isn't suspenseful, nor is it that interesting. However, you reveal to the audience that underneath the table is a time bomb that could go off at any minute. Knowing that the characters are now in danger and could die at any moment, there's suspense and tension builds with the audience. This is really what the movie was lacking for me. There really wasn't anything creative zombie wise in it. In total, there's probably 3 zombies that really play a role in the movie, and there are other zombies in it, but they really are just on screen for a couple seconds and they don't really play a part. There's some interesting things, like they reanimate a severed head of a woman, and that's kind of interesting, but that's been done before and that's not really, at all surprising. I kind of expected to see something like that in this movie. And there really wasn't just enough zombies in general. And I'm not saying that there to be a zombie apocalypse, but I do demand more of a presence in a zombie movie about a Nazi scientist reanimating dead. In terms of the Nazi scientist, he's not in the movie very much. There is an antagonist, but he's not really that interesting. He's just a bad guy, a Nazi, who ends up becoming a zombie later on, and not in a creative way. And I have to say, the gore in this movie is just very underwhelming. As an exploitation film, which is sadly a dying genre in the film genre, it doesn't qualify. You're not going to find any fully nude women. You're not going to find fully nude men. You're not going to find anything grotesque. You're not going to find anything really creative when it comes to the soundtrack. So it's very bare bones. That's not to say the movie isn't shot well. It is shot very good, and the movie looks good, and the sound design's pretty good. The soundtrack's decently put together. However, when it comes to the reanimating part, you just don't get it. And I really want to compare this movie to, say, something like Reanimator, which is a terrific movie from the 80s. You're introduced to the zombies right away, or the reanimating progress throughout the movie. And throughout the movie, there's little snippets of reanimating dead things and getting creative with it. This movie doesn't really have any creativity. There's not enough gore. There's not enough grotesque stuff in it for me to really consider it a zombie movie. And the special effects are really sloppily done. At times they look really good when it comes to the war segments, but when it comes to the zombies, it's really bare bones. The acting in the movie is fine. The actors get their jobs done fairly well, and I could say that for sure. However, I just have to say none of them were particularly interesting or really that likable. I mean, a few of them I guess were kind of likable, but it really didn't matter in the end because the movie really wasn't that interesting. What you get is what you get, and unfortunately you don't really get that much zombies, and it's a pretty short movie, so I could at least say it wasn't boring and it didn't drag on. The final verdict for this movie is a 6 out of 10. As a zombie movie, I really wasn't convinced. I really didn't find it that entertaining as a zombie movie, and I thought it played a lot of things wrong. In fact, I would say most things in this movie were done completely wrong, and they should have focused more on the zombie elements or the mad scientist element, build his character up other than the other characters in the movie. I think that would have been more interesting. Have more creative deaths, have it be more of an exploitation film, but it really just isn't, and it's just kind of bare bones, very bare bones horror movie, and it's just not at all that interesting. If you like World War II movies, it's got some pretty good World War II moments in it, I'll give it that. But other than that, I really can't say it's that amazing, and I really can't recommend it if you're a fan of zombie movies or even horror movies to begin with. If you like World War II movies, maybe check it out, but then again, it's not realistic in the slightest, so I'd have to say don't check it out. So 6 out of 10. I don't really recommend this movie. If you're interested in this movie, you can probably check it out, maybe rent it, maybe borrow it from a friend, but I definitely say you could skip this one. Anyways, I was Grant for One Fair Review. Come back next time when I review more movies, and if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.